was homeless. I had no bathroom facilities. I had no gas and lights. I have a skin condition called psoriasis. I was broke out over 80% of my body. I looked like a leper.
When I lost my apartment, I didn't have any family or anything here, so basically I ended up in the streets. I remember they set my stuff, my furniture and everything out on the street. And I remember cars driving by and they're looking at all my furniture. You know, people are looking like, ooh, what can I get? You know, and this is your life that's just being thrown out on the street. That started the humiliation.
My son, who is ill, was very depressed, very anxious and very agitated. He had lost his job. He was having rages, and he was just in a really bad state.
Wellspring's been around since 1982, and there really wasn't a lot of support between the hospital and the community.
If an individual was in crisis, more than likely they would get in trouble with the law. They'd either be taken to jail or they'd be taken to the university emergency room.
Being in that very ill environment of an inpatient hospitalization can be degrading. People are infantilized. There's a regression. I mean, as a matter of fact, can actually disrupt your overall improvement.
So we look to add to that with something like a crisis unit. We were the first to open a residentially based crisis unit in Kentucky. Now we have 2 CSUs, and we provide a tremendous amount of support as an alternative to the family having to take out a mental inquest warrant, as an alternative to the person having to go to the emergency room. It can really make a difference in the life of that family at that moment.
The crisis stabilization unit, you can get a lot of the same things you can get at the hospital.
We have a doctor there, we have 24-hour staff, licensed clinical social workers, we have art therapists, licensed counselors.
So a lot of the things that you can get in the hospital, you can get at the CSU. The key differences are that we're in a home-like setting.
You walk in the door and it feels different. It's like a house, it's like a home.
The setting is very much intentional at the CSU. The environment's predictable, it's safe, it's a place that they can start to put things back together.
If you were in crisis, it would be a very comfortable place to be. It's certainly better than an emergency room.
It wasn't a clinical type setting. It felt like a home.
I felt very protected, very comfortable. I actually started letting my guard down.
It does feel like you're continuing with life, and so as your symptoms get better, you're able to go back and really pick up where you would have been if it weren't for the illness.
They didn't make me do anything. They asked me.
One of the big differences between our program and a hospital is our program is voluntary. So people are choosing to be there, and that changes everything.
There was no pressure on him. It was like he could just be there, and when he felt the necessity to talk to someone, there was someone there. He could have left at any time that he wanted to, and he chose not to leave because he was having such a valuable experience.
The staff was very warm and welcoming when I first got there, and each day I could feel myself little by little getting stronger.
We actually did a study looking at outcomes in the CSU, and the outcomes were amazingly good. Improvement was the best word I can think of, is actually staggering.
My physical health is a lot better. I have a job, I work now. I'm able to pay my bills. They saved my life, basically. I wouldn't be talking to you right now if it wasn't for Wellspring.
When it was time for me to leave, I was back to the old Tanya. If it hadn't been for the Wellspring Crisis Stabilization Unit, it's hard to say where I would be or if I would even be at this point. It saved my life. It saved my life.
He's pretty much taken charge of his own illness. He's doing ever so much better. And it all started with his trip to the CSU.
The impact that Wellspring has had on people's lives is something that we see day after day. Family members are telling us, clients are coming back and telling us, you see people have more hope in their eyes and just smiling, and that's a really rewarding thing that you do see that impact.
I think the CSUs make a big difference in our community.
Wellspring offers services in Louisville which no other place offers.
The community needs Wellspring and places like it, and people need to know about these places.
It made me feel like that there's hope. I want to spread the news about a Wellspring. You can't pick a better organization.